The ability book had vanished once again, just like the old book he had received. This time he had also been given an entirely new tab that was dedicated only to his shadow ability in the system. "Hey Quinn, what's wrong? Did something happen? Where's the book?" Vorden asked. Quinn then went to tap his head a couple of times with his finger. "Inside?" said Vorden. "What do you mean it's inside your head?" Quinn nodded. Vorden was surprised, but at the same time, not. He had learnt so many crazy things today, and this one was probably one of the least shocking. He could imagine that maybe whoever created the Shadow Book might have put a condition on it. Maybe once it was learnt to vanish or disappear, it would also explain why many weren't found, or how none were sold on the market. Vorden didn't ask too many questions, and gave Quinn a few moments to sit down and rest. He didn't really understand what he meant by it was all inside his head. Of course, this was Quinn's way of getting around telling Vorden it was a system. Status: Race: Vampire. Ability: Shadow. HP 55 of 55. MC 100 of 100. Strength 15. Stamina 15. Agility 15. Charm 5. The first thing he decided to do was check out his stats screen. One of the messages had stated he had obtained a new stat called Mutant Cells, or MC for short. Looking at his MC stat, it currently displays 100 of 100. "System, can you explain the MC stat to me?" "Ho ho!" a cheery voice said. "The MC stat is how many mutant cells you currently have in your body. Every time you use your ability, the MC numbers will go down, but worry not, for it will auto-regenerate itself over time." Quinn then looked at the 2 stat points he had obtained, one from leveling up to level 10, and then the other from when he had consumed Ian's blood. But when he tried to see what he could do with them, he was unable to increase his MC points, meaning it was a similar stat to his HP. The question was whether it would increase on its own like his HP. "I can tell you the answer to that," the system said. "The answer is no. Those mutant cells have a cap in your body. This can only be increased by a certain technique specific to the shadow ability. You would either have to find a higher level ability book or a teacher." With that said, Quinn decided to put his stat points into strength and agility as he had been doing so far. Right now, he only had one skill that required the use of charm, and he didn't know how useful it would be. Strength 16, agility 16. As he increased each stat point, he could feel the changes in his body ever so slightly. The feeling was starting to become addictive. But he was still a long way off from the others. Aaron, who was a level 5 ability user, was able to produce a score of 50 on the strength test. That was also without the use of any beast gear to improve herself. While Vorden was still giving him space and walking around the room, it also gave Quinn the time to check out a few of the other things he had unlocked earlier. First, there was a new tutorial video. There was a single video called Combination Skills. The video was a long watch, as it took time to explain the process. Quinn didn't have time to watch it now, and would watch it later. The next thing was the Shop tab. When selecting this tab, he was able to search by category, and there was a whole bunch of items. Weapons, armor, rings, and all sorts, but there were no skill books or ability books. The only problem was all of the items were grayed out, not allowing him to select any of them. To the side of the screen, it showed his inventory, where he had 16 basic tier crystals, 1 intermediate crystal, and also an advanced tier crystal as well. He didn't know when he had obtained them, but at some point he must have done. Was it while I was a bloodsucker? But Quinn couldn't remember killing anything other than Ian. It was the only explanation. When he had murdered Ian, did all his crystals transfer over into his system? The section to the right allowed him to select the item. He first chose the Rataclaw crystals. The shop auto-sorted itself and gave a message in the center. "No items can be made with these crystals." Then, when selecting the other 2 crystals, items had appeared up in the center this time. Although these items were still grayed out, Quinn now knew the reason why. 3 intermediate crystals required to create this item. The items required several crystals to make them. After searching through the shop more, he realized there were some weapons and items that only needed a number of crystals, while others were more specific and needed a specific type of beast crystal. When selecting the advanced tier crystal, the shop auto-sorted itself once again, and a ring was shown on screen. 1 of 10 advanced tier Deathbat crystals. Effects: allows the user to walk in the sun for 3 hours without being affected by the sun. This was a fantastic discovery. While Quinn was planning to create an outfit that completely blocked out the sun, there was a ring in the shop that had the same effect. The only problem was it required him to kill 10 of these Deathbat, which were advanced tier beasts. Thinking back to how he had nearly died from the intermediate beast, There was no way he would attempt to kill an advanced tier beast. Then there was a second problem. Beasts, especially on the higher tiers, were quite specific to what planet they lived on. At some point, if Quinn wanted to earn the ring from the shop, he would have to come back to this planet through the portal. All in all, the shop was a good find. Quinn started to question the AI system further on how the shop worked, and he had explained that as long as he brought the items that it asked for, it would be able to auto-create it and give it to him. This was another excellent find, as usually after obtaining beast crystals, you would have to take it to a beast weapons crafter who would charge for the making of an item. Then a question hit Quinn's mind. Crystals could only be turned into one type of item, which all had the same effect. The quality of the item created would depend on the crafter, but if the item was destined to be a ring, a sword was unable to be crafted from the same type of crystal. Did Ian know what item the Death Bat crystal would give him? And if so, why would Ian need such a thing? It might have not even been Ian in the first place, but whoever had hired him and taken down the Death Bats. With no way of getting any of the items from the shop, for now, he decided it was time for him to check out the Shadow tab, a whole new section of his system that had been added as soon as he obtained the ability. Underneath the tab was a list of around 10 different skills, each one grayed out apart from the 2 skills he had learned previously. Below, he could scroll down further, but everything just appeared as several question marks. The first skill. Dimensional storage. This skill will allow the user to store items into its shadow storage. As long as there is a shadow nearby, you can take out and put in items as you wish. This includes your very own shadow underneath your feet. If only I had this skill sooner, Quinn thought. Back in the storage room, there were many items that Quinn wished to bring with him. There were multiple skill books and ability books that he had already converted into EXP and wouldn't be able to gain anything again. At the time, he wished to bring them with him to at least sell on the marketplace, but was unable to carry them. If he wanted to do that now, it meant leaving from the safety of the training center and heading back outside where the beasts were. While Quinn's system allowed him to store crystals and specific ability books inside, it did not allow him to store anything else, so the dimensional storage was a great skill to have. The second skill, Shadow Control Level 1, allows the user to control their own shadow. The description was short and didn't really reveal much. Even if he could control his own shadow, what use was that? But the significant difference with this skill compared to the last skill was the fact that it had a level by the side. If it was like Quinn's blood skills, then as long as he carried on using it, it would eventually level up, maybe even allowing him to create shadows or use his own shadows. Quinn then looked at the skills tab again. At the moment, he was able to see 10 skills in total while the rest were covered. Next to each skill was a number. Shadow Cloak Level 1, 10 skill points to unlock. There were multiple skills, but the Shadow Cloak was the only one that he was able to unlock right now. He only had received 10 skill points and wondered how he would be able to obtain more. Judging by its name, perhaps the skill would be able to surround him like some type of shadow. He started to wonder if it would also be able to block out the sunlight, which made him feel so weak. His excitement got the better of him, and as long as he could unlock the other skills later on, what was there to worry about? You have successfully unlocked Shadow Cloak Level 1. This skill allows you to use your own shadow to surround you into the darkness. Your opponents will struggle to see you depending on their level of perception, best used in the shadow or at night. It wasn't exactly what he was expecting, but it seemed like it was a type of invisibility cloak, one that would work well on beasts that were weak but not those of a higher level. Quinn then stood up from the ground and was ready to test out his skills. He could see that Vorden was still walking around the stadium, seeing if he could find anything. It was hard for Vorden to see due to the lights being broken, and he didn't have the same type of vision as Quinn. That meant the whole room was dark. Perfect. Shadow Cloak activated. -1 MC for every 10 seconds of use. His own shadow below started to lift up from the ground and slowly crept up his body, from his toes to his knees, all the way to the top strands of hair on his head. Now, when looking from the outside, a strange foggy mist could be seen covering him. As Quinn walked around the arena, he could see that his MC stat was like a bar. While using the skill, it was slowly going down. He crept up slowly to Vorden in the stands going between the chairs, and it seemed his skill was working. While Quinn was standing around 10 meters apart, it looked like Vorden had no idea he was there. But then, when he took another step closer, Vorden immediately jumped back and attracted a chair into his hand. Although Vorden was struggling to see what it was, he could feel strange energy disrupting the flow around him. The hairs on his body were standing up. Then, when he concentrated, he could see something shifting in the air. Vorden went to repel the chair, throwing it in Quinn's direction. The chair flew right past and into the stands. "Hey, wait, it's just me," Quinn said as he deactivated his skill and could be seen ducked down. "What the hell, Quinn? You almost gave me a heart attack. Do you not remember just seconds ago I was fighting to the death against you?" Vorden complained. "I've been on high alert since." "Sorry," Quinn said as he let out a little nervous laugh. "But man, you already know how to use the shadow ability already? And that seemed like a skill?" Vorden asked, amazed. Usually, it would take months to learn how to use an ability and some skills even longer. Yet here, Quinn was being able to handle everything straight away. "Like I said when I read that book, it seems like all the information was inserted into my head. All I have to do is think about it, and I can do it." Vorden then walked over towards Quinn and took out his hand. "Do you mind this time?" Vorden asked. "Sure, go ahead." The two shook hands, and the same message had appeared as last time. "An ability has been detected. Ability has been blocked." "What's the meaning of this?" Quinn asked inside his head to the AI system. "The system will try its best to do whatever it can to help the user. It will tell you when abilities are being used on you and all sorts." "Can I temporarily cancel the feature?" Quinn asked. "It's not really a feature. It's just informing you of what your vampire body is naturally doing. Besides, even if the boy could copy your ability, he wouldn't be able to use it." "What do you mean?" "That skill book you used is specific for vampire cells inside your body right now, our vampire mutated cells. This is the reason why he can't copy it. Your body structures are completely different. But you could always turn him into a blooded one. Would you like to activate the blood skill ritual? Yes? No?"
Hi, Quinn here. Wondering what happens next? If you want to jump the queue and unleash all episodes, click on the link here and install the Pocket FM app.